Yesterday was my daughter's 18th birthday, and she asked me to smoke ribs. Fantastic. I love to barbecue. There's just one problem. My Traeger's finally crossed over the meat sweats bridge, and all I've got is my little Weber kettle. Now, I've done pork butt and brisket on the Weber before, and that's never been an issue. Set up the charcoal in the snake method, add your wood, and spend a lot of time chilling out. But having just spent most of the morning replacing the one touch cleaning system on this kettle, I wanted to do everything I could to keep from needing to deal with that again. So I decided that this was the perfect time to do something different. The results were mixed, but we'll talk about that later. We start off like we do every other smoke. Toss the meat in our handy barbecue tub and lather it up with some yellow mustard. By the way, it was this cook that I learned that cheap yellow mustard from the grocery store has so much food coloring in it, it will stain that nice white cutting board. After lathering on a healthy amount of mustard, it's time to add the barbecue rub. The base of this rub is black pepper, salt, and Hot Dan's barbecue seasoning. If you're in the St. Louis area, you can find them at most farmers markets, or you can get it online. Dan and his family make some of the best pepper blends, and their sandwich seasoning is the only Italian seasoning mix you're ever going to need. I'll have his website linked in the description below so you can try it yourself. This video isn't sponsored. I just love pretty much everything they make. Okay, this is where you can see the new thing I did. I decided to buy the Weber char baskets for the coals. I was hoping that it would allow me to have less crap fall down that needs to be cleaned out later. Spoiler alert, not only did they not keep things cleaner in the kettle, but they cause way too much direct heat for the ribs. They might be great for general grilling. Going forward, I'm sticking to the snake method for low and slow. Once the ribs are on, it's time to add the apple wood that had been soaking in the water for about 4 or 5 hours. And no, I don't leave the ribs stacked like that. I just didn't film me spreading them out. Oof. In your grill, Parko. And here we are, 3 hours later. Yes, I did the 3-2-1 method on the ribs. If you're curious about what that is, comment down below and I'll do a more in-depth video covering that method of cooking. We'll just make sure to use the snake method. Once the ribs are wrapped, they go back on the smoker, in this case the grill, for 2 more hours. After the 2 hours, I didn't film taking them out of foil and putting them back on the grill, but I did, giving them another hour to cook. And here's the money shot. All off the bone ribs. First, I want to point out that the ribs tasted really good, but they were a bit dry, and both the bone side and the tips were burnt. And I'm not talking about a little. The char baskets just caused way too much direct heat for 3 racks of ribs. What could I have done differently in this cook? I think there are 2 things that would have led to drastically better ribs immediately. One, I shouldn't have used the char baskets. I'm sure they're going to get plenty of use when I'm grilling and want indirect heat for things like chicken and burgers. But for ribs, they just put too much heat over too high of a surface area. Maybe I could have gotten away with just using one, but I would have needed to feed the heat and smoke significantly more often. But since I'm confined to the Weber until I get a new smoker, I'm just going to stick to the snake method from here on out. Comment down below if you want a video explaining the snake method, and I'll get one shot. One thing I could have done to make the ribs better would have been to buy a rib rack. A rib rack is just a metal rack that sits in your grill that allows you to position the ribs vertically. That way, not only can you fit more ribs on your smoker, but less of the ribs would be over direct heat. Before I do ribs again, I'll be buying a set of racks. There are a couple other things that I think I need to start incorporating when smoking on the kettle. Unlike the Traeger, the heat, whether using the baskets or the snake method, isn't as dispersed on the kettle. Now, Weber makes a tool to help with that, but it's nearly $100 after shipping, and I'd rather just save that money for a new smoker. So, I need to start basting the cook when I'm over charcoal. That's probably a good thing to do regardless of what smoker I'm using. Also, the foil might have been too aggressive for a wrap. I've always used foil in the past, but next time I might try wrapping in butcher paper like I do with briskets and pork shoulder. That would also allow me to continue basting through the 2 hours that the ribs are wrapped. But at the end of the day, my daughter was happy. We also had homemade guac, and there's a video on this channel from when we were all on lockdown where I taught her how to make that guacamole. Just be warned, that video was from before I quit drinking, so I also make a cocktail in it. Anyway, I hope everyone learns from my mistakes with these ribs. If you did, or you like this kind of content, give me a like and a subscribe. Since I quit drinking, there's going to be a lot more barbecue content on the channel. I also play video games, do live streams of D&D, and paint minis over on Twitch. So if that's also your jam, the link for that will be in the description as well. Catch you in the next video.